Continuing coverage on CBS News 24/7 in the search for Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy. So we are 11 days in after the 84-year-old disappeared in the night. The FBI hopes that this doorbell camera video and the still photos will bring the break in the case that they need. So overnight, there was a flurry of activity to report. There was a man detained, he's questioned, and then police let him go. That man told reporters he has nothing to do with Guthrie's kidnapping. So today, all hopes hinge on this video. The people hoping for a break in the case are looking at that doorbell camera image released by the FBI. And somebody who knows how the FBI operates is former FBI Special Agent Jeff Harp. Jeff, it's good to have you here. Of course, the hours continue ticking. The risks get more intense by the moment. In your experience, as you've reviewed that security camera footage, is this person to you somebody who's trained, a trained operative to conduct a kidnapping?
No, I would say, in my opinion, just based on some of the attire and the way the firearms held in the front and in an improper holster, and the person didn't even really come prepared for dealing with the camera. I mean, all you'd have to do is put a piece of black tape over it rather than pulling vegetation up and trying to disguise how you're going to look in front of that camera.
Is it possible that Nancy Guthrie let this person in through the front door? I'm just wondering if this person may have stepped outside the camera's view and used a voice that maybe she knew to make entry.
Well, I think there's some indication that entry was made in the back of the house. Doesn't mean that they didn't try to come through the front door or that she didn't come to the front door. Again, we have exact timestamps when this occurred because of the video has been retrieved. So those early morning hours, I mean, if you get a knock on the door at 1:30 in the morning, we're not really all together there. So it's anybody's guess, how she reacted when this occurred.
I'm thinking of Nancy Guthrie. Of course, we know Savannah Guthrie has told the public they believe their mother is still alive. If she is being held by somebody who now knows that that image is out on international television, it's all over online, does this turn up any risk for Nancy from her captors?
Well, that's always something you have to weigh. And, this didn't just come up in the last 24 hours. The FBI has discussed this with the family. They've discussed it with other law enforcement who's working the case, and they made the decision tactically that this is the best way to put it out there. Having millions of eyes on a video and on still photography is way better than just a handful of investigators. So they're still pouring through lots of other digital clues, and certainly they're looking at all of the fingerprints that this person presented. And I don't just mean physical fingerprints. I mean the things like the backpack, the style, the clothing, everything about it. There's also ways to sort of peel those layers of that mask off and see what the person may really look like.
Well, there is a lot of attention on this video and the photos that came with it, but also a lot of conversation online about a Bitcoin account. Just a question for you. A lot of our viewers, no doubt, have been reading what's out there relative to some activity recently on a Bitcoin account, not substantiated by CBS News. But for the viewer who doesn't know how that works, can money transferred in a Bitcoin account be traced to anybody?
Yeah, that's a real complicated question. There are ways to follow that money. The problem is it transfers from one account to another account. It gets randomized. It gets really complicated. And I think what investigators are concerned about is once money is transferred in there and things start moving around, you start losing a lot of time. And there are resources that the Bureau has to able to track money, even through Bitcoin, but it does take a lot of digital dissecting. And we see that this video footage took some time. They had to recover that from probably archives that Google kept in the event of some sort of disaster recovery. So all this stuff takes time.
The local sheriff's department in news conferences has said, look, nobody is ruled out. But when we start seeing reports that activity is happening at particular homes over and over, or in a particular neighborhood over and over, can we read from that investigators do have some clues that are drawing them to one area over another?
Obviously, there's something that keeps drawing them back to one or two different areas. And it could be something that they've turned up either from DNA or from some other type of analysis. So yes, it's a clue that the reason they're going back there is there's something there that they're looking for or they believe that can help lead them to somebody else.
We're hearing about billboards put up now in California, Southern California especially. Also, we're aware that the ransom note, one of the ransom notes read that if ransom was paid, Nancy Guthrie would be returned within 12 hours. How does that speak to a radius or an area where investigators likely think maybe she could have ended up?
Well, I think we saw several days ago, one of the individuals reporting drew a circle around 12 hours at, averaging 50 miles an hour. Well, the thing that I come back and say, kidnappers don't have to follow any rules. They can say whatever they want, and then
Right.
the person turns up at any location they decide to drop them.
Okay, Jeff Harp, we appreciate your expertise. Thank you so much,
Sure
former
thing.
FBI special agent. Our best wishes to your peers as they continue to try to bring an end to this for a family that's suffering. Authorities are asking for anyone with information in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie to contact 1-800-CALL-FBI or the Pima County Sheriff's Office right there at the number on your screen. Even the smallest tip could be something that could lead to a break in this case.